Today on Dr. Phil, identical twins.
My sister is always trying to one-up me. I'm a better homemaker. I have a cuter husband. I have a better car.
So you're just a better person?
Yes.
From best friends.
If my house is better, I'm gonna flaunt it.
And you don't see anything wrong with that?
No, I like being better.
To bitter rivals.
So you want her to feel defeated?
I do.
Are you serious? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
5, 4.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
I want you to imagine looking in the mirror, and the person you're seeing is always doing something better than you. That's what's going on with our first guest. They're identical twins, and one is always trying to one-up the other, comparing herself to her sister every step of the way, every single day, in every single thing they do. I could not believe it when I read the story. Mandy and Megan are sisters who claim to be best friends, but in reality, their constant competition turned them into worst siblings. Take a look.
My name is Mandy, and I'm an identical twin. I'm Megan, Mandy's sister. When we were younger, we did everything the same. We played the same sports. We were in the same classes. Mom always dressed us the same. We used to win all the twin contests at the county fairs we went to. We were the best of friends. Things started changing when we were in junior high. We became more rivals. We both liked the same guy, and I won him. I won the battle. Nowadays, it seems like our connection is all about competition. My sister is always trying to one-up me. I have the better house, the better location, the better neighborhood, the better neighbors. I'm the better twin because my life is perfect compared to hers. I have the better clothes. She doesn't have as many clothes. I own my home and she rents hers. My husband is the best. My husband is cuter. My husband has the better job. I won the competition for the best husband for sure. My car is a 2009, hers is a 1999. I have a cute teacup poodle and she has a pit bull. I have the better house, she has a townhouse. I'm a better house cleaner than she is. I'm a stay-at-home mom and I'm a homemaker. I get to make my house look beautiful. She has to still work. She doesn't get to stay home with her kids and her house doesn't look as good as mine does. I have the better curtains, I have the better decorations. My stuff is better. I definitely win the sister competition.
Really?
Yes.
So you're just mighty proud of the way you turned out?
I'm very proud of it.
Really?
Yes.
And did you watch that piece?
Yes.
Yeah, what'd you think about that?
It's true.
What part of it's true?
Everything.
What part?
My house is better. I have a cuter dog. I have a cuter husband. I have a better car. Everything is better. I'm a better homemaker.
So you're just a better person?
Yes.
Overall? You're just better?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I don't think so. I think that she's a little greedy for thinking that.
Okay, so out of that tape piece you just saw, what you take away from that is it's all true.
Yes.
So that would be something that you'd like to get a copy of and play at Christmas for the family or play at the family reunion.
That would be great.
That would be, you'd be proud of that.
I would be very proud of it.
Really? You couldn't be any dumber if we cut your head off. Are you serious?
I think I have everything that's better.
Really?
I do.
Okay, and define winning for me.
Being better. Being better than everyone else that's competing.
Then that means that there has to be someone that comes out on top and then someone that comes out on bottom, right?
Yes.
Like when you were in high school, you remember when you were playing a school across town? You know, it'd be like, crush the Vikings, grind them into nothing.
Yes.
That's what winning is, right?
Yes.
You slam, crush, grind.
Yes.
And that's how you think about your relationship with your sister. Slam her, crush her, slaughter her, grind her.
Build myself up more and more.
So you want her to feel defeated.
I do.
And you don't see anything wrong with that.
No, I think I like it. I like being better.
What do you think about the fact that your twin sister takes pride in the fact that she wants you to feel bad about yourself, defeated, less than, that her way of feeling good about herself is for you to feel worse about who you are?
It makes me sad to think that she thinks that less of me.
It seems to me that you have a much greater sense of peace in your life than she obviously does, because she is obviously a very tormented and petty individual, which I'll get to in a minute. I'll get that in a minute, but do you recognize that there's something seriously wrong here?
Yes, I do.
So you don't personalize this. You recognize that there's something wrong with her.
Yes, that's exactly how I think. There's something wrong with her insecurities, but what she says to me, I can kind of put behind me in a way.
Yeah. I just used a couple of words to describe you. She says that you're insecure.
I don't think so at all.
And I said that you were being petty, toxic.
No.
Do you think that it's inherently unhealthy if someone takes pleasure in another person's failures or struggles?
I don't think so at all. I think that it makes me feel better. It makes me feel better knowing that everything's better and making sure that she knows that too. You get the negative attention, not the good attention.
Oh, you're getting plenty of negative attention, don't you? That is one category where you are winning.
I'm always the winner in any competition I already know I wanted before it's even begun.
It does feel like one thing after another. It never stops.
I don't think Megan's better at anything compared to me. She has dirt clumps in her backyard and hardly any grass, and the fence sucks. Mine has grass, fully fenced in.
It was a hot summer last year, and my flowers had an excuse to die. She says that her flowers made it, so she won. She's a better gardener.
I think that my hair is better than hers. It's all natural color. My skin is clearer than hers. I don't have very many pimples. I've lost more baby weight than she has.
What's it gonna be in the future? Are we gonna compare wrinkles and who looks older, who has grayer hair? When is it gonna stop?
If there was a sister Olympics, she would be the one jogging slowly, and I would pass her around, round and round and round again.
So you actually have a better dog.
I do.
How is one dog better than another?
Because we've both always wanted a poodle, and I got a poodle. She got a pit bull.
Yeah, I'd try to arrange a date between your pit bull and her poodle. See who wins that competition.
I think I'd win that one.
What do you dislike about yourself so badly that you need someone else to do worse?
I don't think that I dislike myself. I think that I just have always had to compete my whole life for the attention. Who's going to get the attention? Because we've always had to share attention. And now, if I make myself look better than her, then I know that they're proud of me and they're giving me the better attention.
You draw the attention back to me.
Well, you get the negative attention, not the good attention.
Oh, you're getting plenty of negative attention. Don't. That is one category where you are winning. See, you're winning my attention today.
I'm
I'm proud of that.
I'm certain you are.
I'm glad you enjoy my company.
Yes, I certainly do. You're interesting. But as a parent, from the time Robin and I raised two boys, and from the time they were old enough to really be social, one of the values that I tried to impart to them was, I said, listen, it's kind of a philosophy of life. I think you'll find that if you conduct yourself in a way that people feel better about themselves when they finish interacting with you than they did before they interacted with you, that you will tend to be successful in your life. So if your friends are around you and they feel better about themselves for being around you, I predict you'll tend to be successful. Make people feel better.
I think I do that with
themselves.
Everyone else but her, though.
Yeah, I bet.
I think everyone else loves me, and they all.
I've noticed
extremely.
that too,
I'm
though.
extremely nice to my neighbors. I have everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah, okay, one of the reasons Mandy says she's the better twin is she waited to do something until she was married. We'll find out what that is next.
My sister will look for any opportunity at all to make herself look better than me. She's always trying to paint me as the center, and she's always Mrs. Perfect. My sister definitely took my pregnancy and twisted it into something negative. I lived my life the right way. I got married first, and then I had kids. Once she found out, she told the whole family before I had a chance. I bash my sister all the time. My sister knows what cuts the deepest. It feels horrible. I don't really think about what it does to her. Knowing she is doing this intentionally makes me angry. I don't understand why my sister treats me the way she does. I've never tried to stop. It's always just been a need that I have to do it.
Wow. You know, in order for people to get better, they have to have insight. You have to recognize that this behavior is petty and toxic and unbecoming. You can't think it's healthy to wish bad things on your sister, to take pleasure if she is less fortunate than yourself. You can't possibly believe that that's a healthy attitude in this relationship.
I just feel like I want to be better, and I want everyone to see that. And if I am, I'm going to flaunt it. If my house is better, I'm going to flaunt it.
Okay, but do you understand that your need to do that means that you have something seriously missing in your maturity? The fact that you need to do that.
I think that's just normal sibling rivalry, twin rivalry. I think it's normal.
Look, that's not normal.
But we're twins, though, and
It's not normal for twins. It's not normal for triplets. It's not normal for gerbils. This isn't normal. I mean, seriously, I'm telling you this because since you don't have insight, I'm trying to give you an objective input. This isn't healthy. This tells me that there's something within you, some need you're trying to fill, desperately trying to fill, that means you're constantly caught in ascendancy. See, there's something in relationships that we call leveling. And leveling is whenever someone sees themselves as woefully inadequate, this would be you, woefully inadequate, they do one of two things. They either really try to thump their chest and inflate themselves up where they appear to be on the other person's level, or they shoot at the other person to try to bring them down to where they perceive themselves to be. It's called leveling.
I don't think I'm leveling, trying to shoot her down. She's already down.
And you take pleasure in that.
I think
And see,
so.
anytime a person takes pleasure in another person's suffering, whether it's even if it's an enemy, you know, you be a gracious winner, you be a gracious loser. These are things that make up the fiber of character. And it's very unbecoming of you to feel and behave in this way. And if nobody apparently has ever bothered to tell you that, I just thought I'd tell you. The only mistake I think you're making is giving her any voice, any moment, any presence in how you feel about yourself.
I agree.
I think in terms of emotional evolution and development, I think you are worlds past where your sister is. I think you are here, and I think she is here. And I don't say that to be mean. I just say it to be descriptive. I'm hoping that sometime you'll pop in a tape of this show and you'll look at this, and it probably seems like I'm trying to be mean to you, but I just kind of adjust the level of my rhetoric and the directness of my comments to what it takes to get through the wall of the person I'm talking to. And for you, I feel like I need to get back over here and take a big old run at you to get it, because you just don't get it.
It won't go down with that either. It's a rock and brick wall.
Yeah, well, take great pride in that. Yeah.
I do. I built it that way.
Yeah, well, that's great. Yeah, take great pride in being committed to
myself. Making myself and my house
committed,
happy and
yeah, be committed to your
beautiful.
dysfunction. Be committed to your toxicity. You know, you want to hang on to that real tightly, and then sometime if you lose your sister, God forbid, you can take great pleasure in knowing that while she was here, you spent all of your time putting her down and making her feel bad about who she was.
I don't think that I put her down all the time, though. She does the things.
I really hope and pray that day would come that you would cheer on your sister, and that if you ever did see her in a bad spot, that rather than kick her while she's down, you would find it in your heart to give her a hand up, because that would be something I would admire, because I certainly don't admire what you're doing now. Coming up, another set of siblings at war. They call each other names, try to make each other fail in class, and they say they wish they were not related. The trouble is they are. In fact, they are identical triplets. We'll be right back. Well, Ashley, Brianne, and Christina are identical triplets. Now, let me tell you, that is rare. You have triplets. We're talking identical triplets here, and that's like 1 in a million or more. They have always done everything together. They wore the same clothes, spoke their own language, and they appeared to be the best of friends. But at 19, they could not be more different. They fight, call each other names, and one of them says she doesn't even want to be a triplet anymore. Their mom, Paula, feels like she has failed as a mother. You made some mistakes along the way. I'll tell you what they are in a minute.
Okay.
I actually made a list here of the things that y'all have friction over. You say at school, you two are the best at school, and you're not?
I think I'm equal to them.
Okay, I'm just saying what they say. They say that you're a great athlete, that you're better than they are.
In bowling, yes.
In bowling. Is that a sport?
Yes.
No, I mean, is it like a sport at school? I mean, I
Yes.
know bowling's I
It
love
is a
bowling,
sport.
by the way. I think it's great. I can break 100 sometimes. So you get tutors and all. You don't share that. She wants to copy your homework or test answers. No way. You think she cheats off of your tests sometimes.
Yes.
Okay. Sure, the school will be glad to hear that as they're watching this. You deny that, correct?
Yes.
Deny that vehemently for me.
I don't cheat on her test.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you, West Texas A&M. Just wanted to be sure you understood. She's making no admission here whatsoever. When she broke her ankle, you were happy.
I don't know who said that, but that is not correct.
She said it.
I don't understand why you would say that. I mean, we got second in state because you weren't there, and I wanted to win more than anything.
She said that you said you were getting good at bowling and now you're going to suck.
I never said that. I said
Did she say that?
Yes, she did. I said,
So she's lying to me now because
No,
this is obviously
I said-
earth-shattering.
I said that she was getting really good, and after she broke her ankle, she decided she didn't want to get any better.
And in one game where she won, you said, you just play terrible, you're lucky.
No.
Yes. That was that was at the state tournament, and you were said that the only reason that I won was because I got lucky, not that because I deserved to win.
That there was plenty of girls that are capable of winning the tournament, and if you played it over again every day, a different person would win.
And that may be true, but you weren't happy that I won.
You're right, I wasn't happy, but I still...
You weren't happy that your sister won?
No. I heard she was sitting in the audience hoping that I would lose every match.
You know what I think?
Yes.
Would you like to know what I think?
I'd love to know.
Would you like to know what I think?
Yeah.
What I think is if you girls ever encounter a real problem, God only knows what you would do. I have never heard such trivial, petty, back and forth between three sisters in my entire life. Are you kidding me? If you can't, particularly identical triplets, doesn't mean you have to hang with them. Doesn't mean you have to like everything they do. Doesn't mean you even need to live with them or do whatever. But to be disloyal to your own sister seems to me to be a much bigger problem than who wins the bowling game or who studies the hardest for a test or whatever penny ante stuff you had on your list here. Now, that's a problem. None of this is a problem. I look at this and I thought, what a load of crap. These girls are charmed. They should be jumping up and down happy. But you know what is the problem? Is that somehow, some way, you've decided it is okay to be disloyal to your own people. That bothers me. And what mistakes did you make here? Just real quickly, because that ship has sailed.
Yeah, it has.
And you just need to butt out at this point, which is good news to you.
Yes.
Because they call you to solve an argument several hundred miles away.
Yes, they do.
The thing that you have to do with all kids, and it's certainly a challenge with triplets or twins because time is so precious now, is you need to work to identify each one of them individually, uniquely. Find out what it is about this one that makes them unique and special, and what it is about this one that makes them unique and special, and help them find that they're not a third of a set.
Right.
They are individuals, and a third of a set, but they are individuals. And one of you needs to break this triad of pettiness and just decide, you know what? I disengage. I'm not going to do that anymore. Be happy for their successes. Help them through their hard parts. And is it going to be perfect? No. I mean, you are going to get on each other's nerves. Come on. But you can rise above this. That's all I'm saying. It's not becoming to you. You're beautiful, intelligent girls. Don't get down in this. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
The triplets didn't have a lot to complain about, did they? Well, my next guest thinks his wife doesn't either. He wishes he could shake her and have her snap out of it. Find out why they are at odds next. My next guest, Noelle, says she's been diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and personality disorder. Now, her husband, Don, says there are times when he just wants to shake her and wake her up. Now, Noelle says she doesn't know where to go from here.
My depression started shortly before my grandmother passed away.
I went to see her in the hospital, and I said, I don't know how I'm going to do this without you. You're my best friend. She took her last breath. My grandfather died a year to the day that my grandmother did. I knew I was depressed after my grandfather passed away, but we were planning our wedding, and I think that it helped to just take my mind off of things for a little while. My wedding was the happiest day of my life, but my sister got up to make a speech. She started off by saying that there was no way my grandparents would have missed seeing me get married, and I just broke down in tears.
She was a wreck. She was an absolute wreck.
I don't remember exactly the date that I saw my first therapist, but I went to see him just to try and help with the depression. All he did was throw pills at me.
Noelle's depression has been extremely frustrating for me. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle it.
My depression got so bad that I couldn't even get off the couch. All I did was sleep. I barely ate and practically never went outside.
Noelle at one time was taking between 15 and 20 pills a day. Now she's down to about 5 pills. I want the Noelle that I married back. The one who I married, the one who I dated. I want that Noelle back.
How are you feeling generally now from day to day?
I still struggle on a day-to-day basis. I still feel bad about myself. I've never liked myself. I still feel very angry with myself because I feel like I'm a burden to not only my husband, but to my family.
And you kind of agree.
It's a roller coaster of a ride to be on it with her, you know, through the ups and downs that the depression has. And it's extremely frustrating.
And when was the first time you noticed this?
It was definitely, I would say, when my grandmother got sick. I could definitely see a change in myself.
Up till that point, you were what? Describe yourself.
You know, growing up, I always felt like I was different. When I got to high school, and Don and I, we had kind of the same group of friends, and I was happy, I was outgoing, I was a cheerleader. It just had, like, it was different then. And then after that, I just feel like when my grandmother got sick, it just all hit me like a storm.
And it is what? It hit you. What is it? How did your experience of life change?
I felt like I got robbed. She was my best friend, and I had to watch her suffer so much, and she was so strong through all of it. And I felt sad, I felt worried, I felt scared.
Don says, look, I hate that she feels this way, but there's a part of him that says, look, I'm just fed up with her insecurity. So much so that he says, he's threatened divorce. He's saying, I hate this, but I also don't know what to do. Take a look.
Noelle's depression is affecting me as well. Noelle does have trouble holding on to a job.
I do think that I'm very capable of working.
There's so many doctor's appointments.
I would constantly be taking anxiety medicine.
She doesn't know how to handle certain situations.
I would text Don 5 to 10 times a day.
The texting is 24/7.
All I really wanted was for Don to be sympathetic, or just to say, it's going to be okay.
I can't solve her problems and still keep my mind focused at work.
It hurts because he's my best friend. Don said to me, if it's going to be constant fighting, then I don't want this. He told me to go to the courthouse and file divorce papers. It's like a knife in your heart. I've always been afraid that he was going to leave me.
She's constantly asking me, well, why do you love me? Why do you stay with me? There's prettier girls out there.
I've never liked myself. I've never thought I was pretty. I feel like a failure.
You realize that this is an illness?
Yes.
Or do you think she's just lazy and whiny?
No, I understand now after going to the doctor's appointments with her. I understand now that it is an illness and it is treatable.
People with an illness of this sort may come across as lazy and whiny, but, I mean, because they sound like whiny and lazy people sound, but there's a difference, and the difference is the illness. Let's take a break, then we're going to be specific here. Noelle says she is on her 4th therapist. She's done 15 electroshock therapy sessions to find relief. why she feels like she's a lost cause when we come back.
I've been suffering from severe depression for about 3 years now.
I was just enraged for no reason. And I knew that something was wrong. I saw my therapist. He told me that there was no other way that I was going to get better unless I went for ECT treatments. And I felt like I had no other option. It was the same anesthesiologist every time. And he would put the IV in and just say, have a good sleep. I don't know how many times they shocked my brain. I don't know for how long. I would wake up. I was literally a zombie. I couldn't think. I could hardly talk. I went 3 times a week for 5 weeks. Don and I would like to have a family. The only way that I would bring a baby into this world is if I'm not on the medication.
I'm very sketchy about starting a family. I don't think she can handle the go, go, go of taking care of a kid.
He deserves kids. I worry that I'll never get better and that I won't be able to give them to him.
Well, Noelle says she's been struggling with anxiety and depression for the last 3 years. She's lost both of her grandparents in her early 20s and says she's really never properly grieved for either one of them and wonders if she will ever be able to feel happy again. Now, joining me now to talk more about depression is a really good friend of the Dr. Phil Show, Dr. Frida Lewis Hall. She is the Chief Medical Officer of Pfizer. So, Frida, thanks for being here.
Thank you so
good
much.
to see you.
Depression is a serious and common illness. It affects women, as you know, more often than it does men. And as it turns out, it also peaks in people in their mid-20s. And sometimes it is precipitated, as in Noelle's case, by something that happens in your life, a serious life event like the loss or illness of a loved one. Unlike most people who rebound from that in a period of time, your sadness and grief lasted for very long and went very deep. Why do some people get that kind of depression and other people not? We think it's a combination of things. It can include biologic things, genetic things, environmental factors, or psychological factors. But to really look for treatment is the important key, because unless you do that, depression can worsen, or depression can lead to other physical and mental health problems.
And I'm glad you're here talking about it, because so often people feel ashamed, right? And
yeah.
I mean, you're confused and you're ashamed about depression and mistakenly believe that, look, I just got to gut it up here. I've got to overcome it using willpower alone.
It is so true. The stigma around depression is so great. There are so many treatment options that are available. There are many medications that are available, different types. There is psychotherapy that is available. There are many forms of that. And you mentioned one, which is a brain-stimulating therapy, electroconvulsive therapy, or ECT. These things can be used by themselves or in combination. And it sounds as though you've done what many people must do, and that is go through a number of these therapies, alone or in combination, to find just the right one for you.
Would you say in your general course of things you're doing better or you're doing worse than you were, say, 2 years ago?
I've definitely come a long way. I've gone from around 17 medications down to about 4, which is great progress.
We often think, sometimes people think depressed people, like I said, are just lazy. Just like, look, get over it. Just come on, quit whining, get over it. But depression is a real disorder with very real consequences.
Depressive illnesses are brain disorders. And now, luckily, with advances in brain imaging and other technologies, we really have a chance to see that what happens in people with depression are changes in their brains.
Let me show you, because, Don, I want you to really think about this. If you guys were out hiking and she broke her leg, you wouldn't just leave her behind.
No.
Say, well, hell, you can't walk, bye. You wouldn't do that. And when you think about the brain, depression, you got to think about it in the same way. You can't see it just looking at her, but if you look at the normal brain versus the depressed brain, they're very different. In the normal brain, this frontal lobe area here is where you have kind of higher order thinking and reasoning and processing, and you can see how different it is in the depressed brain. And then you've got the temporal lobes here, and this is where you have emotions are centered in here, and some of the aspects that have to do with your feeling. And you can see over here, concomitantly in a depressed brain, it's much darker. And then this is the thalamus in the middle of the brain, and you see over here, again, it's shut down. So it's kind of like, you talk about depression, you don't feel the lightness, you don't feel the energy, you don't feel the activity.
Exactly.
That's what you'd see if there was a broken leg and you look at an x-ray.
Mm-hmm.
We now have that ability to do the same thing with the brain.
I do want to say, though, that we've got a ways to go with this. As
We do.
exciting as these advances are, these brain imaging technologies can't do a couple of things. First of all, they can't tell us why depression occurs. And second is that they're not typically used yet to diagnose depression or to help guide treatment.
There are some things that we think can be very important for you to do, and I want to talk about those with you after the show. And when you have existing therapists and relationships, we don't want to do anything to interfere with that, but we would like to do some things cooperatively that might take some of this to another level and give you some more relief. So we'll talk to you some more about that. Coming up, the questions to ask if you think you or a loved one is struggling with depression, plus where to go for help right now. We'll be right back. Well, it's normal to feel sad every now and then, but if you're struggling with daily life for weeks at a time, for example, then you should seek help from a healthcare professional. Depression is a very real disorder, and you don't want to ignore the signs and symptoms. So how do you distinguish just regular sadness from depression? Talk about that a little bit.
You know, that is so important because some people say, you know, well, I should be sad, right? And it's okay. But there's some really important diagnostic criteria, things that your doctor would use, signs and symptoms that you would share with them that would help differentiate from come to a normal sadness from a major depression. What needs to happen is you would have 5 of these or more that would occur for a 2-week period or more in order for the depression diagnosis. So the first one is feeling sad or empty or tearful most of the day, every day. So this is a profound sadness. The second is loss of interest in things that used to bring you pleasure. Being outside, doing things, don't bring you pleasure anymore. A significant change in appetite, and that can either be up or down, and usually has some weight loss that goes along with it or weight gain if your appetite's up. The other thing is trouble sleeping. Some people have trouble sleeping, others sleep far too much, like all day, can't get themselves up and moving. Fatigue and lack of energy is also really an important key. And feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, worthlessness, guilt, those things plague you during the day. Reduced ability to concentrate, to think, to make decisions, just, can't quite focus. And agitation, restlessness, or irritability. These things also occur. And last but absolutely not least are recurrent thoughts, these thoughts that won't go away around death and suicide.
And if you see on the graphic that we have up here, we checked off all but one for you. Your weight's been pretty stable.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah, but other than that, we've checked almost everyone off for those, which means you're dealing with a major depressive episode. But that doesn't mean that it tells the whole story. And listen, everybody we have on here is in a way a teaching tool. And I hope this has given you guys some insight at home and in the audience today. If you suspect a loved one is battling depression, the most important thing you can do is help them get a diagnosis and treatment. Don't just feel like, come on, I got to be tough. You offer emotional support and understanding. Never ignore comments about suicide. This old adage that people that talk about it don't do it is not true. That is a myth. Do not believe that. And if you are depressed and suicidal, call the 24-hour National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255.
And this is so true. There is so much help that is available. And the good news for you, Noelle, and for others who suffer from depression is that there are many options that are available. And I have to applaud you for raising your hand, asking for help, inspiring others to do that, and also for sticking with it and really working hard, both of you, to get your depression treated so that you can feel better. Lots of information to know about depression, and for more information, you can go to gethealthystayhealthy.com. There's information there on both depression and other illnesses.
Okay, and when we're finished, we're going to talk with you backstage about some other things that maybe we can add to help you in doing this. But I want to thank everyone so much. Dr. Frida Lewis, thank you so much for being here. I want to thank all of my guests. If you're dealing with depression, go to drphil.com where I've posted resources and more information. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much.